Fine, how are you?
Good. Now, please introduce yourself to the court.
My name is Dr. Brody, and I am the coroner of Buckeye County, Ohio. I have been since 2002.
How did you come to hold this opposition?
Well, truthfully, I never had any political aspirations. I never really expected to find myself being the coroner. But after receiving my degree and spending some time practicing forensic pathology, I came to read some articles in the local newspaper regarding, frankly, sloppy and unprofessional work coming from the county coroner's office. And I said, I'm a forensic pathologist, I'm perfectly qualified to do this work. The people in my county deserve better, I can do them better. So I ran for the position and I was elected.
Now, after election, what type of environment did you try to create at your office?
Well, my very first mission was to change the public's perception of the coroner's office as being, as I said, sloppy and unprofessional. So I immediately set us about on making a 180-degree turn and creating a more suitable environment.
How do you do that?
Well, there are a number of ways. For one, I immediately asked all employees to frequently attend seminars on public record keeping and professionalism and medical ethics. I had the district attorney as the coroner's office legal advisor come in to inspect the office to make sure we were following all medical legal autopsy guidelines. There were a number of ways.
And now, you mentioned autopsies. What is an autopsy?
An autopsy is an examination of someone who is deceased, both internal and external, as well as social and medical and personal. So while there is a medical examination of the person themselves, their tissue, internal and external, there's also discussion with friends, relatives, coworkers, associates, a look at the medical history. So basically, we just try to put together as complete a picture and history of the deceased as we can to get all the information we need.
So, what is necessary to perform an autopsy?
Well, first and foremost, the family's consent, which we immediately obtained from this case.
Now, how do your methods for autopsies compare with accepted practice?
Well, as I've stated, it was of the utmost importance to me that the Buckeye County Coroner's Office is regarded as going above and beyond the call of duty for how a coroner and his office should act. We are completely within all medical legal autopsy guidelines, follow all rules, procedures, guidelines, and mandates to it.
So now let's move on to talk about Sean's autopsy in specific. Now, before the autopsy, were there any clues about his cause of death?
No, not in this case. The social medical history didn't provide any information. So we needed to contact him and his family and obtain permission to perform an autopsy, which we did, and an autopsy followed.
And what procedures were involved in the autopsy?
As I said, all the standard procedures, external and internal examination, searching for bruises, marks, injuries, any signs of internal stress, bleeding, hemorrhaging, that sort of thing, as well as an examination of a portion of Sean's brain cells at the forensic pathology lab.
And how much of a brain is permissible to remove?
Legally speaking, once a family provides consent for an autopsy, it's completely permissible for a part or all of the organ to be removed, including the entire brain. It's actually not uncommon for smaller organs such as corneas to be removed. So although, in theory, legally speaking, it would have been permissible for the entire brain to be examined, that wasn't at all necessary. Only a small sampling of tissue was taken, several microscope slides worth.
So you mentioned the pathology lab.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, not all of the necessary procedures can be performed immediately in the coroner's office proper. The forensic pathology lab is an off-site facility with more medical equipment, more examination equipment, more room for performing autopsies.
Okay, so you said that Sean's brain cells were infected. What was discovered?
Well, this is where things just spiral beyond anything I could have imagined. My associate, Dr. Herbert Reese, was examining the brain cells of the deceased and came upon the frankly remarkable discovery that despite Sean's passing and the brain cells removal from his head, the cells continued to regenerate and reproduce with unimaginable speed and intensity. In layman's terms, the brain cells were immortal.
Immortal cells. Wow, what's the significance of those?
The significance is huge. It's mind-blowing, it's unimaginable, it's completely unprecedented in all of medical or human history. The possible applications and uses these cells could have is, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface yet. Spinocerebellar ataxia, multiple sclerosis, dysarthria, just a whole host, a myriad of disorders and diseases. We might have the key to unlocking it here. It's frankly astonishing.
Wow, that does sound quite astonishing. That was something really hard to contain for yourself. So what did you do after their discovery?
Well, I immediately decided that these brain cells could have incredible implications for the entire medical community. So after asking Dr. Reese to make sure they were carefully preserved, I contacted several medical centers to determine who might be able to best advise me on what could be done with these brain cells to benefit humanity. Ultimately, I ended up coming in contact with Dr. Alex Gray from Whiteacre University. He's a world-renowned, foremost expert in tissue gene regeneration research. If anyone can put these cells to the use they need to put to, it's Dr. Gray.
How important is being able to collaborate with other doctors?
Being able to collaborate with other doctors is hugely important in my line of work, and it's strongly encouraged within the coroner's office. A friendly collegial environment is absolutely crucial to determining the cause of death in a patient. Sometimes the initial investigation, as in this case, doesn't yield all the proper clues. And if I can indulge myself for a moment, sometimes I like to think of being a coroner as a bit like being a detective, like Sherlock Holmes. It requires inductive and deductive reasoning to determine the cause of death. And one mind doesn't always have all the answers. It's very important that professionals communicate with each other and share ideas. A meeting of the minds can have great benefits.
And what rules prevent you being able to collaborate with other doctors?
Well, actually, to the contrary, we are encouraged to collaborate with other doctors. No rules prevent it, and it is actually encouraged.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon,
Is
Mr.
that
Brody.
good? It's actually Dr. Brody.
Dr. Brody, final office. So you stated that you discussed these regenerative cells with Dr. Reese, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Your Honors, I would now like to refer the court's attention to the document that has been previously stipulated as Exhibit A. It should be around page 70 of the judge's manual and page 80 of the student. Please let the record reflect that I'm showing opposing counsel on that copy. Mayor Pro- Exhibit A, around Mayor Pro Tem.
Go ahead. Continue.
Mayor Pro Tem. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do. That is the email I received from Trucker Reese on April 3rd.
And this is an accurate copy, correct?
Yes, it is.
Please
It's
follow.
on page 7.
Yes, the first page is the only page that we want to focus on. Please follow along as I read the last sentence of the third paragraph of the email. However, as the family's consent was limited autopsy only, it is so very unfortunate that we will never truly know the impact of this discovery or see the research possibilities come to fruition. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Dr. Reese therefore explicitly stated that the family's consent was only limited, correct?
Well, the family consented to an autopsy and all that that entails.
So that's yes, correct?
Yes.
And an autopsy is performed to understand the circumstances and cause of death, right?
Yes.
Selling the cells is not part of determining the cause of death, is it?
Removing the cells, however, was. And at that point, the cells came under the jurisdiction of the coroner's office.
I'm sorry, Dr. Brody, please answer with a yes or no. Selling the cells was not a part of the autopsy, was it?
No, it is not part of the autopsy.
Thank you. Your Honors, I would now like to refer to Exhibit B. It should be found on around page 72. Did you all want to have a copy? Please let the record reflect that I'm showing opposing counsel an unmarked copy. May I once again approach witness?
Yes, you do.
Dr. Brody, is this an accurate copy of the Universal Ethic Committee Guidelines of Professional Conduct?
It is.
Please follow along as I read number 6. Refrain from exploiting any professional relationship to further personal, political, or business interests at the expense of the best interests of patients or others. Did I do that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. A professional relationship would be one you have with the patients, wouldn't it?
Yes, what?
And therefore your relationship with the Hemlites family would be considered professional, wouldn't it?
The For what?
And therefore, you should not exploit your relationship with the Hemlock's family, should you?
No, I did not.
The Hemlock's family trusted you simply to perform an autopsy, didn't they?
Which I did.
However, they did not ask you to find any regenerative cells from Sean's body, did they?
The discovery of regenerative cells happened normally in the course of my work under a sample of tissue that was under the jurisdiction of the coroner's office.
So that's a yes, correct?
Correct.
And Dr. Gray offered to purchase the brain cells, didn't he?
Yes, you did.
And you accepted this offer, didn't you?
I did indeed.
And you therefore received monetary gain, right?
Yes.
And this monetary gain was personal to you, wasn't it?
Was.
However, you were profiting off of Sean's cells, weren't you?
Objection, Your Honor, that's an argument of question.
Your Honor, I'm simply asking him whether or not he made money off his cells, which is a natural progression of the questions I've been asking my case. And therefore, you were profiting off Sean's cells, weren't you?
Well, Sean's cells is a sticky question because, well, the cells did originally come from Sean's head. What's important to remember is that once the family signed the consent for the autopsy, they were under the knowledge that some cells may be removed, and at that point, they become the jurisdiction of the coroner's office.
Dr.
So
Brody,
technically, they were the coroner's office's cells.
so they are the coroner's office cells, correct?
That's correct.
However, you personally profited from the selling of the cells, right?
I never made an attempt to sell the cells. The cells weren't put
Dr.
out.
Brody, please answer my question with a yes or
Objection, Your
no.
Honor, these questions require more than yes or no. In order to not mislead the court, I ask that my witness be allowed to answer more than yes or no.
Your Honor, may I respond? All I asked the witness was whether or not he was the one personally paying the money. That is simply a yes or no answer, does not need explanation.
If you ask a question, that can be out.
Can you please restate your question?
So you personally received the money, right?
That's correct.
However, you stated that the cells were the property of the coroner's offices, right? So therefore, you were selling the coroner's office property and gaining yourself, weren't you?
I'd like to reiterate that no one was ever attempting to sell anything. I was contacting Dr. Alex Gray in line with my duties as a doctor, a medical doctor, to determine what could be the greatest use to be put to frankly, an astonishing medical discovery, the implications of which the world has yet to even imagine. The fact that Dr. Gray offered some financial compensation, I think, is irrelevant.
Your Honors, I would like to strike the witness's last response as non-responsive. I simply asked him whether or not he sold the coroner office's property, and he talked about Alex Gray and medical research.
Your Honor, as I said before, these questions are not simply yes or no questions. They're trying to infer that his motivation was to make money. That is all, and that's it's not a yes or no.
That particular instance, I think he did not answer both of his
Thank you, Your Honor.
questions.
You received extensive education, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And however, all this education doesn't come cheap, does it?
No, it doesn't.
In fact, you were persuaded against going to Buckeye College of Law because of your monetary situation, weren't you?
Objection, Your Honor, to others didn't go to school for things that is absolutely the coroner's office.
Your Honors, I'm simply laying the foundation, and the purpose of these questions will become clear in the next question, if the opposing counsel would allow me to ask.
I'll let you go a little ways this
Thank you, Your Honor. Money factored heavily into that decision of your life, didn't it?
I'm not sure I would say heavily. Well, that was ultimately what dissuaded me from going to law school. I wouldn't say I was exactly swimming in debt or anything. It wasn't law school and homeless or not law school to have money.
You did acquire enormous student debt, didn't you?
I'm not sure I would say enormous, certainly a reasonable student debt. Most students incur and pay off in some time.
Dr. Brody, you gave a deposition in this case, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And in this, when you gave this deposition, you swore to tell the truth and the full truth, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Your Honors, I would like to refer to Dr. Brody's deposition, which should be around page 59 of the judge's materials. Your Honors have a copy? Please let the record reflect that I am showing an unmarked copy of the first page of this deposition to the opposing counsel. Mayor Pro Tem Witness,
May.
please follow along as I read line 290 to 291 on page 60 of the judge's manual. I was dissuaded by Dr. Taylor Olson, who put my enormous student debt in perspective. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Therefore, Dr. Brody, you did have an enormous student debt, didn't you?
That's it.
On direct, you stated that part of your work includes talking to families, friends, and other people about your work, right?
Right.
And when you found out about the cells, you discussed them with Dr. Reeves, didn't you?
I did.
You also contacted several medical centers about your findings, didn't you?
I did.
And you also talked to Dr. Alex Gray, obviously, correct?
I did.
However, you never once informed the family about these cells, did you?
No.
And you even neglected to ask for their consent to use their dead son's cells for your research, didn't you?
I hate to sound insensitive and frank, but the fact of the matter is, at this point, the cells were the jurisdiction of the coroner's office and had gone beyond the autopsy. Frankly, the family's consent to medical research wasn't necessary.
You couldn't have expected these regenerative cells, could you?
I could not have. They were discovered quite randomly.
And therefore, the Henlights family couldn't have predicted these cells either, could they?
No.
You need to act in the best interest of your patients, don't you?
My patients, the county, everyone.
And therefore, you would make every effort to find out the best interest of your patients, wouldn't you?
To a reasonable extent.
However, it would be impossible for you to predict all their objections, wouldn't it?
Objection, Your Honor, that would be speculating on the next family's wishes. No one can speculate on someone else's wishes.
May I respond? Your Honor, Dr. Brody's job as a county coroner is in order to use, as he stated before, his patient's best interest in order to make the most informed decision. And as he already answered the question, he obviously has the knowledge to answer.
I'm afraid I agree that it's less than speculations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
To clarify, you did sell the cells, didn't you?
I was financially compensated.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
You do. You correct.
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Brody, why did you contact Dr. Gray?
Well, frankly, because, as I've stated, these cells go beyond the boundaries of any family or any county or any coroner's office. These cells, the benefit they hold to the entire medical community and the world was immeasurable. And I truly felt that Dr. Alex Gray was the expert to contact to determine how these cells could be put to the best use. I can't imagine a better man to be contacted.
Why didn't you contact the family?
Well, as I stated before, I don't want to sound insensitive, but it truly wasn't necessary. It didn't relate to their son's autopsy, which had already been completed at this time. And furthermore, the Henlex family, Sean Henlex wasn't the only person to pass away in Buckeye County during the course of this investigation. I can't be overly concerned with one family at the expense of every other family with a deceased patient in the office. And to contact every family over every matter would just be impossible.
These cells, what would have been done with them otherwise if you had not used them for Dr. Gray?
They would not have been put back into Sean's head, that is for sure. They would have been regarded as medical waste and thrown into the incinerator.
Now, looking back in hindsight, would you have done anything differently?
Absolutely not. I believe I fulfilled my duties as highly as I could have. I believe I did everything exactly as I should have done. I believe I acted ethically, morally, and professionally.
Thank you. No further questions.
You. You recross?
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. Brody, you did receive monetary compensation from Dr. Alex Gray, didn't you?
Objection, Your Honor, let's be able to scope of the hearing and not ask him about money.
Your Honor, she did ask him about Dr. Alex Gray and their relationship, and therefore she opened the door for further questions about Dr. Alex Gray and what they did.
I'm going to sustain it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And you stated that you do not believe that you should tell the family about the cells from their dead son's body, didn't you?
It's not that I don't believe they should be told. It's that in this particular instance, I simply didn't inform them. It's not that I didn't think they would like to know, and it's not that I would have cared for them not to know. I wasn't hiding it from them. I wasn't going out of my way to make sure they weren't aware.
However, you did tell
I told those who would have found the information relevant and they would put it to
And
use.
therefore, you believe that the Hemlock family would not have found the information of the cells relevant, right?
The Hemlock family contacted me to perform an autopsy on their son.
So that's a yes, right?
Can you repeat the question, please?
You believe that the Hemlock family would not have been interested in this discovery of child cells, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, it's again speculating on what the Hemlock family would have been interested in, not been interested. Again, no one can speculate on what other people would be interested in, or their wishes.
Mayor, the witness just stated that he did not believe the Hemlock family would be interested in the discoveries of their cells as he did not appear in the court. I'm simply re-clarifying what the witness has already stated.
I'm not entirely sure that's what he said. The question is called for speculations.
Thank you, Your Honor. If no other questions.
Please get that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
There's no consequences. Okay, that's resolved. I believe at this time,